In 2016, the technology world globally was taken by storm with the announcement of the Freedom 251 smartphone, which was offered in India, announced by a company in Noida, to be sold at a price of rupees 251. For anyone who is not Indian, this is equivalent to $3.52. The smartphone was sold by Ringing Bells Pvt Limited and was marketed heavily as the world's cheapest smartphone. Cut to 3 years later, there have been no news about the delivery of the smartphone. Over 7 crore or 70 million orders and registrations later, the founder of the company has been arrested multiple times on the counts of fraud, misleading the public, running a Ponzi scheme. So what happened when a smartphone that was supposed to be so cheap, which was launched with the vision to make with the 1.3 billion people in India, give them the access to digital services, give them the access to internet, give them the access to a smartphone for the price of 251 rupees, turned out to be a fraud. So today in this episode of What Went Wrong, we're going to analyze the story, the hype around Freedom 251 and what led to its failure, or was it supposed to be a scam all along? Before we begin, make sure you like the video and leave a small comment down below because it really helps me get more viewers as the YouTube algorithm likes it. Subscribe to the channel if you like this content and check out the other episodes in the series from the playlist in the description and the cards as well. So let's begin. To understand how this story became so big, we have to go down the memory lane. Just to refresh things, it all started in early 2016 when Ringing Bells hosted a glitzy media event to announce the Freedom 251. And because the phone in question was touted as the cheapest smartphone in the world, it grabbed headlines almost instantly in India as well as the world. Everyone was talking about the Freedom 251 on YouTubers, on news platforms, on websites, everywhere Freedom 251 became the ringing keyword, and Ringing Bells, a company nobody knew anything about, quickly became a global name. Originally, Mohit Goel, the founder of Ringing Bells, had claimed that the Freedom 251 will come in the market in the hands of the buyers from the end of February 2016. The company started taking pre-orders after the announcement, and obviously it received a great response. Over 70 million or 7 crore registrations were received. Cash on delivery, however, was not an option to begin with. And that is when the doubt started creeping up in the minds of the people at first. February came and went, but the Freedom 251 deliveries never happened. The company then came up with a new window for delivering the world's cheapest smartphone. Now, the company had initially promised to deliver 25 lakh Freedom 251 smartphones before June 30, but then it lowered that number to just 2 lakhs. But even the 2 lakh number never delivered. After all these delays and after people crying for their money that they had deposited, the customers were getting very angry. There was no one who had seen a phone in the hand delivered to their home, but yet there was a big queue of people waiting to get into the next batch of orders. Bowing down to the pressure of the customers, the company apparently returned all of the money that it had collected on the initial batch of orders and announced cash on delivery as an option for selling the phone. Now, the important point to note is that at this point yet, the company was still to deliver even a single handset. In July of 2016, the company announced that it will start delivering the phones from July 8. It will deliver first 5,000 units, and in all total 2 lakh units will be given for grabs. And the last news about the phones from then is that the company was successfully able to deliver 5,000 units at the price of rupees 251. But after that, there have been no new numbers, and the company has all but lost everything that it gained in that short span of time. Its founder has been arrested multiple times on charges of frauds. So let's explore how it all went down. But before we can understand why the company went down, we have to take a look at the factors that made this outrageous claim of delivering a smartphone at the price of $4 even possible. When the phone was launched in February of 2016, the launch event was attended by a member of parliament, and that added to the claim that the project was part of government's initiative to make Digital India. Digital India was the hue and cry back in 2016 with the launch of cheap internet, with the priority of delivering digital services to majority of Indian audiences. It did not seem like too good to be true because it was possible that the government was financing such a project. However, soon after this news broke, the government made it very clear, and even the company, that the government was not involved with this project at all. In June 28, 2016, when the founder of the company wrote a letter to PM Modi, he wanted the government of India to invest a financial sum of rupees 50,000 crores in his project. So the 75 crore people of India could then buy the phone at the price. Which leads us into the second reason why it all seemed so probable. The company Ringing Bells was looking at economies of scale, which is an economic concept that made all of this hoo-ha about the 251 rupees smartphone into kind of a sense. And that is when the experts argued that it was not possible to make a phone with these specifications at less than 2000 or 2500 rupees. With the buzzword being economies of scale, the company claimed that if it were able to sell 75 crore smartphone, it would then sell these phones at the price of 251, incurring a small loss and then making a profit by selling extra services to the consumers. All of that made sense in a way, but ultimately when the company started claiming outrageous claims, they said that they were sourcing 60% of the components locally, and they were dreaming of a future where it would manufacture 100% in India. The company was looking for an investment of 70-80 crores to begin with, out of about 23 crores which were invested in the 251 smartphone. Ultimately, the company failed to deliver on its promises. The founder, Goel, said that his vendors failed to save him, or he needed an opportunity to come back clean, or that the government does not support him for his immense aim and promise to deliver a smartphone for every Indian. And he even added that if the government would help him now, he could still deliver the handsets by March or April in 2019. But ultimately, the reason that the smartphone failed was simply that it was too good to be true. The majority of people in India were fooled by the promise of getting a smartphone for a mere 251 rupees. It was a dream that was shown to them by a person who was willing to exploit their immense innocence about owning a dream phone. When the phone was launched, it was speculated that the company had taken another brand's phone, rubbed the brand name with a whitener, and then pasted their own brand name. The image of the phone being part of the Digital India initiative, of having some sense of an economic model in place, made it succeed enough that everyone was talking about it. But ultimately, what this whole drama has done, that instead of making India a place where digital literacy could be the biggest in the entire world, it has brought about India as a place where such bad events can take place. Goel and company and the Ringing Bells has backtracked on every promise that they have made to the customers. If you were lucky and got a Freedom 251, congratulations to you. But ultimately, it was nothing more than a scam of epic promotions. The only lesson that can be learned out there with this facade is that people who tend to fall for things who are too good to be true should not do that, obviously. It was a setback for the government as well, which was pushing the Digital Media Initiative and Make in India initiative. And rather than improving the country's image, the long delay, the eventual shutting down of the company, the immense negative publicity has tarnished India's image globally. And Freedom 251 story will go down as one of the biggest scams, one of the biggest smartphone fails, and one of the biggest disappointments in the tech world for a long time to come. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it till the end. Make sure you check out the other episodes in the What Went Wrong series from the link of the playlist in the description and in the cards as well. If you like this content, consider subscribing. I would request you to check out my other videos and see if you like to watch these regularly, because I come up with these videos a lot of times every week. It is the month of December and I'm coming up with a new video every day at 5 p.m. looking back at the decade that has passed by. So make sure you check those out as well. I'll link the playlist in the cards as well. And thank you so much for watching it till the end. I'll see you next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. with another new episode of What Went Wrong. Until the next one, goodbye.